The linesman.
I don't know, Keith. He threw it there. They may rule that he pushed off.
Yep, maybe an offensive call against Florida.
Because it was thrown by the official right over here on this side, looking right at him.
And Byron Capers was on the ground.
Pass interference on the offense. It'll be a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, and it remains third down.
Take a look at him over here. He's just going to push off before he runs the little slant to the inside. Receiver comes down. There's contact, and the defensive back goes down, and the official right over on that side threw the flag right at both of where the two men were.
So the Gators now are shooting themselves in the old toe as they come all the way back to the 33-yard line, where it is third down and 21. Back on their own 33, having been down on the 46 of Florida State. And Andre Wadsworth finally erupts in the middle of the line. He had a big ball game in the regular season meeting. The interior linesman did, and big Wadsworth got loose on this one.
Again, the sack comes from up the middle from the reverse side. Wadsworth, 5 of the 6 sacks in the first ball game came from the inside. Wadsworth had 1. The other defensive tackle, Spain, had 2.
That gets Robbie Stevenson, the left-footed punter, into the game and sends Peter Warrick deep to receive the kick for Florida State. Stevenson's first kick with no one back to return it was 55 yards. No pressure. Good kick by Robbie. Warrick waiting, takes it at the 33, dances, finds a little room, and then down he goes at about the 38-yard line. You got a penalty flag. It's thrown back on the 30-yard line on the Florida side of the field.
Holding on the receiving team
against Florida State.
The post-scrimmage kick enforcement spot by rule.
And it'll be a 10-yard penalty at 13:32 to go in the first half. We'll take a timeout with the Gators leading 10-3. A 10-3 ball game in the Nokia Sugar Bowl. The time remaining you see reflected there.
Busby had a good first quarter. Thrown for 124 yards in the first game, and tonight already thrown for 125, and that figures. Bobby was talking about it during the week that the quarterback had to play better in this ball game, and they knew it, and everybody knew it.
Peter Warrick had a big ball game too in the first game, but he hasn't seen the ball yet tonight. They're all over. But I mean, they didn't give him any chance at all. Big Ed Chester, the sophomore out of Spring Hill, was thrashing on him before he could set his feet to throw. And the loss is back inside the 15 to the 14.
Well, Chester is right here, and he's just going to bust right through the inside of that line. That's Long, number 78. And that's his 7th sack of the season. They lead the SEC in sacks. You know, all the attention goes to the nose, but good defense for the Gators.
Second down and 18. Busby having a little trouble. Oh my goodness, that ball was almost taken into the end zone by big old Tim Beauchamp. I mean, he had it on his hands, but he couldn't find the handle, and the big defensive end walks around
now,
thinking about what might have been.
The right defensive end, the white shirt, watch him, a little screen. Dunn's going to try and hide. This is what Bobby Bowden mean when he said, we don't ask Busby to win the ball game, we just don't want him to lose it. If that would have been intercepted, those are the types of things. They don't want to put too much pressure on the quarterback. But Warrick Dunn not getting much yardage, Keith, they're putting more and more pressure on the quarterback. That was almost a disaster for the nose.
Shotgun, you've got Cooper and E.G. Green down here, and this is a reverse with Peter Warrick carrying it, running back in traffic. He's for a moment and picks up a first down. No, he didn't get the first down. No, sorry. The big sack prevents him from getting his first down. He got across the 25-yard line after running about 40 yards and risking his life going back into the middle where the big trees were.
It's a kind of an interesting play, though. I think that's one of the new ones. Both of these guys, Bowden and Spurrier, love these new plays.
So Sean Liss is out for his third punt of the night, 46 and 44 on the first two, and Green is a dynamite punt returner. Nice high, deep carry, and they don't crowd him. So everything is legal downfield, and it'll be the Florida ball at the 27-yard line after a 48-yard punt.
This ABC Sports exclusive brought to you by Nokia, proud sponsor of the Nokia Sugar Bowl. Nokia, connecting people. And the new Dodge. It's about change.
Steve Spurrier watching his team now take possession at their own 27-yard line, leading 10-3. Bobby Bowden, bit frustrated in that his offense has not produced much so far. And they've got 4 wideouts now in the Florida alignment with Wuerffel back there by himself. High snap, here they come. He gets it away, he's got Hilliard, he's got the ball. And he's out of bounds at the 27-yard line, and a penalty flag way back upfield where the quarterback Wuerffel was buried. They may be a roughing call back upfield.
Roughing the passer on the defense.
That was a big play, though.
Well, the blitz was on, and they had single coverage. There was a free man. Take a look from behind. The blitz is on, but he's in shotgun. Nobody picks up Crawford, and this time, unlike the last time, he gets it off. There's the penalty for hitting the quarterback.
If he'd kept his head up and kept the shoulder out of his back, he probably wouldn't have been flagged. But Randy Crystal didn't make any bones about it. He threw the flag, and the football advances all the way down to the Florida State 13-yard line.
And that was a good call. There's no question about that. Steve's been bellyaching for the last month about late hits, but Mickey Andrews has to put pressure on Wuerffel if he's got a chance to win this ball game.
Right now, the Gators are knocking on the door again. Same alignment, and Wuerffel throws it to the corner, and it is incomplete. Intended for Anthony, defending Colsey, and that was a very good defensive job by James.
Here's a look at it. This is what Florida likes to do when they get inside the 15-yard line. Their receiver, good jumping ability, really should have had it. Colsey's only 5'10", Anthony's 6 feet, but he can really get up there.
Well, James was right in his numbers. 2nd down and 10.
He's telling him what to do.
When he raises that foot up, he tells the center, okay, you can snap it when you're ready. Pressure, but Wuerffel throws it back to the other way, and it is out of bounds, short of the goal line to Fred Taylor. He went out at about the 2. That was a hard throw. You got to be strong to make that. Back across his body.
He's got 3 wide receivers to our left side. They are covered. Taylor's going to slip out and come right across. Right there, number 21. He must know from practice that that play is usually open. If the wide receivers aren't open, go back to your halfback.
So it's 1st and goal from the 2-yard line. Hand off to Taylor. Touchdown. The extra point try from Bart Edmiston, senior out of Pensacola. Nails it. Out of Michael Yorkins. Snap. And Robbie Stevenson. Oh.
So look at the touchdown. Usually when Florida gets down here against Florida State, they've thrown the ball even from the 1 or 2 yard line. This time they just run to the tight end side and push it in.
And it's 17-3 Gators. Well, there he sits, the general, and he's got things pretty well in hand right now, leading 17-3 as they go 73 yards in 26 seconds. Doesn't take long when you got a great big old play and a 15-yard penalty at the end of it. Here's the kickoff by Teague, and he killed it all the way into the end zone. There, oh, he's coming with it from 4 yards out of the end zone and paid for it up at the 16-yard line. They're jumping around, but he's going to be called down, and it'll be Florida State ball. And the Seminole offense right now, Bob, is caught up in the old tango gig.
Well, they've been 3 and out on their last 3 possessions. Dunn has rushed for four times for 0 yardage. Their last 3 possessions, they've been 3 plays and punted. And you need to get Warrick Dunn into the offense. They've tried, Keith, that screen pass on the last possession just didn't work. It was almost intercepted.
So Dunn is back there now with Busby out of the shotgun formation. Picks up the rush. Dunn's a good blocker. Ball's thrown to Messam on the sidelines, and Wayne steps out of bounds at about the 17-yard line. Well, there's not a whole lot on that one. Time remaining in the first half, 11-16. I think it's they better watch out here because the Delta is starting to leak a tad. And the Gators are, I mean, they're jacked up. They're flying right now. And once they get you reeling, get you back on your heels, they can put you away.
16. Got it.
2nd down and 8. Dropped by Wayne Messam. Thrown behind him a bit, thrown on his hip, and he couldn't pick it up. And here's Swannick.
With their opponents 28.7 to 7.14 to 1. And I can bet you this, Bobby Bowden knows he's got to put a rope on these Gators in his first half, or else, Keith, they will drag him down into the swamp and they'll never come out.
We had a little trouble getting the sound, but Busby working out of the shotgun. Now he's got 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got 5 possibilities to throw the ball here. He goes down the middle with it, and no chance. E.G. Green was defended by Shea Showers. He had no chance to get to the ball. And once again, for Florida State, it's a 1, 2, 3 kick.
Green's going to go to the center of the field and run a little square in. Showers is going to be right there as he reads it. That's not interference. Showers has as much right to the ball as does the receiver.
Sean Liss is in for the punt, his 4th. His best one was the 3rd. It was 48. He gets this one out of there. He doesn't get it to turn over, so it's a little shorter and possibly a return by Green. Yes. Green dancing around. You better corral him pretty quickly. He's at about the 49-yard line on his return of 7 yards after a 40-yard punt. And so now the Gators are sitting in the middle of the field at their own 49-yard line, 1st down. Season premiere of ABC's Wide World of Sports will feature the NutraSweet World Challenge of Champions from Innsbruck, Austria. That's coming up Saturday. Also will announce the Wide World Athlete of the Year for 1996. ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Keith, this defense for Florida State needs to make something happen. They have been dominant all year, but they have not been dominant here tonight. The shotgun, the quick passing, and the quick throwing. We have 1 sack by Florida State. Coming in, they led the nation in sacks with 67.
Out of the shotgun, Wuerffel gives it off to Taylor, and Taylor will move it over to the Florida State 49, picked up for 2 yards on the play.
That's a new formation that the Gators are using. They've got their 2 backs stacked in the backfield. And I think they do it, one, for pass protection, Keith. Secondly, just to give them something else to think about. Florida's had great field position, starting on their own 49 on an average, and FSU not nearly as good.
2nd and 8. Oh, they got him this time. Got him on the 45-yard line. Peter Boulware, number 58.
Number 58, the top of the screen. Boulware on Collins and Taylor. And then he gets back and gets a piece of him. That's just outstanding work.
Boy, he's good, isn't he?
Boulware came in with 19 sacks on the year. As we mentioned, he led the nation in sacks coming in.
So back him up, make it 3rd down and 14. Back at the 45.
He doesn't play like he's sick to me, does he?
No, here they come. Wuerffel whistles it away in a hurry and goes down hard. 2 of them hit him, and Wuerffel, Danny looking around to see if the building is turned upside down or what. It's Wilson and Boulware both in this one.
Well, this is a middle screen, so the linemen are letting those ends go.
You can't let them go.
Here's the other side. There's a lineman up there. Wadsworth or Spain or one of those guys is looking for the halfback. In the first game, the middle screen was a big part of the Gator offense.
You cannot let those guys loose. You better call the paramedics.
You got that right.
Robbie Stevenson's in the punt. Dee Feaster is waiting to return it. He's a tailback. Stevenson hits it well. Back to the 13. Feaster comes up the middle. Good return. Dee Feaster runs the ball out to about the 37-yard line. So Stevenson's low line drive punt of 42 yards is returned 24. Monday late night, Politically Incorrect, starring Bill Maher, comes to ABC with first night guests including Roseanne, Coolio, Ariana Huffington, and G. Gordon Liddy. Hotter topics, cooler guests, when Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher. Premieres on ABC Monday after Nightline. First down, 37. And they snap it short to Warrick Dunn. And the first play of the night in which he has accomplished something. He moved it from the 37-yard line up to close to the 45. And you got a Gator shaken up on the play. Johnny Rutledge, man shaken up.
Rutledge, number 58, right of your screen. Snapped it directly to Dunn. He gets hit by his old man. He got hit by Lott.
Yeah, Lott popped him.
He's hearing some birdies in his helmet, I think.
You know, that ball almost kind of went between Dunn and Busby, and Dunn had to reach out to catch it. So that was close to not working too, but once Warrick Dunn gets his hands on it, you hold your breath. Watch this.
Watch, the ball was snapped. Dunn, I don't think Dunn was ready.
I don't think so either.
He wasn't ready for the snap. I mean, everybody else was, but he was a little late. He probably forgot what the snap count was. That happens.
So near the 45, 2nd down and 2. This is Oh, this is Pooh Bear Williams. Who in the world was that ran into him there? It was Keith Kelsey, a freshman, 218 pounds, stands 6 feet tall. He's pretty well built, but remember now, Pooh Bear weighs 286 pounds.
Kelsey's in there playing for Rutledge, who just went off, and if Rutledge hadn't gotten hurt, he'd been over there. Kelsey's gonna say, "Hey, Rutledge, come on back. I get in for one play and I get Pooh Bear out in the flat."
Oh, me. That's a good way to get that famous scar under your chin.
Oh, boy.
He's a little bit short of the first one. Little bit short. See that Joe Germain got his scar yesterday. Did you see that?
Yes, sure did. What a great game that was, huh?
Wasn't that something? The Sun Devils fell, but they did it gallantly.
Yeah, you got to.
And admire the courage of the Buckeyes for hitching up their britches and coming back.
Bruce Snyder, a great job with Arizona State, but you got to be happy for John Cooper.
Arizona State being the other undefeated team in Division 1A. And as we play this game tonight, Florida State, which is trailing by a score of 17-3 in the second quarter, is the only undefeated team left in Division 1A. 8.5 minutes to go in the first half. The dive ahead for the first down following the offensive line surge, and it's good. So you can move the chains.
And because of that loss, Arizona State has one loss. If Florida State wins this game, they'll be the national champion, being the only team left undefeated. If Florida wins, and like you said earlier, you got five.
Big argument.
You got 5 teams tied.
The natural process, of course, you would think would be that Florida, with number 3 beating number 1, would be voted the national championship. You would expect that. But it doesn't always happen. Pressure coming. Busby gets it away. The pass is almost intercepted on the ricochet. Oh, my goodness. Peter Warrick finally getting a chance, but the ball was thrown so hard by Busby, and Keith Council is the guy that almost came up with it for the Gators. Defensive tackle. We may see this fella tonight.
Dan Kinder is the backup, has done well when he's been in there. He played really well against Wake Forest, threw for a lot of yardage. Busby 8 of 16 and 129 yards has cooled off here in the second quarter.
That ball is batted right back at him by Demetric Jackson. Strong safety, number 27, slapped it away.
Jackson, number right at the bottom, 27, is lined up as if he was covering the wide receiver. And at the last second, when the ball was snapped, blitz. There's a strong safety blitz, and Busby didn't see him coming, and he knocked the ball down. That's a good defensive play.
And it's 3rd and 10 now for the Seminoles at their own 48-yard line. He's got a man messing down the middle. The pass is complete inside the 30 to the 29. First down, Seminoles.
It's a good play, and it's something that he needed for his confidence. He's just going to go down and run a square in over the center of the field. The 2 receivers on the left side go deep to clear it out. Nessum comes underneath. If that ball is caught on time and the receiver has enough speed, a lot of times you can come out the other side with a big gain.
Cameron Davis, linebacker, is hurt and down on the play, and timeout for the injured player. So Cameron Davis, who's been dogged by injuries in his career, has another one, apparently. He hurt his knee early on in this ball game, limped off the field, got back in.
It's been a tough year with the injuries for Steve, both in the offensive and defensive lines.
Here's Swanee.
Well, Keith, Donnie Young, number 75 on the offensive line for Florida, is on the sideline. He twisted his right ankle. They're trying to get that retaped Himeko win, but Danny Wuerffel bruised his right shoulder in that last series, and Fred Taylor, the running back, has a slightly separated shoulder. So while they have the lead here for Florida, they're getting banged up a lot, Keith.
All right, we've got a continued timeout in the Nokia Sugar Bowl. That's 7:49 to go in the first half. The last time the Florida State Seminoles lost a bowl game was the 1981 Orange Bowl to Oklahoma. Quarterback, now Congressman J.C. Watts, found split end Steve Rhodes for an 11-yard touchdown pass. Went for 2 and got it, and beat the Seminoles 18-17. 1981.
Saw JC the other day. He was, in fact, he was in Miami speaking to the Orange Bowl prayer breakfast, and then he flew over here to speak to the Sugar Bowl.
Really proud of him. I think he has just become a sensational young man.
Class act.
29-yard line, 17-3. The Florida Gators have the lead. And the Seminoles now with that first down get one here. They sure would make the trip to the clubhouse easier. He's got a man wide open. Touchdown, E.G. Green. The Florida defenders ran together and fell down, and it was a gift for Green and the Seminoles. Indeed, that will put a little spring in your step. The kick by Bentley is good. And it's 17-10 with 7:28 to play in the first half. And Bobby feels a whole lot better.
Just what Bobby Orr